At least I do guess. All right, welcome back to Tech in Asia's Product Development Conference 2022. We're almost at the end of day one. Thank you for sticking with us through all of the presentations. This next one is about DevSecOps in practice, and we will be hearing from Brahnda, CTO at Secure Access.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Winston, for that kind of introduction. Hi. Welcome to Tech in Asia talk about DevSecOps. I, Brahnda Eleazar, you can call me Ale. I will be talking about what is DevSecOps and what you can do to start implementing it. And just a quick run through the agenda for today. I will be doing a short introduction of myself, and then we will be talking about the 4 main topics that I think is relevant to the DevSecOps main topic that we are going to talk about today. And hopefully by the end of the talk, you would have some key takeaway that you can bring to your colleagues, your boss, to your management, that you might be able to find it beneficial for you to implement in your unique environment. And so who am I? I am the CTO of Secure Access, which is a company that is focusing on consulting a lot of financial institutions, insurances, banks, and securities company, as well as some of the health and mining sectors, also telco. We basically consult in developing the security process and culture with that company. And part of that job is also helping the DevOps team to instill security in their entire cycle or process. I am also the co-founder of RedStorm, which is a bug bounty platform provider. And using this 2 kind of perspective, RedStorm is actually helping me to deliver to my other clients in terms of what is actually going on in the field. What are the things that hackers actually find in some of these really cool applications that the RedStorm clients have been developing all these years, right? So I want to bring those 2 kind of unique perspective into today's talk, and hopefully it will be beneficial. So let's start the DevOps versus DevSecOps, and let's see if they are actually 2 different things. But before that, I want to start with some perspective, and we will try to look at it in 2 ways, actually. The first one is, unfortunately, some security people still see it this way, where DevOps is the team that is pushing for newer products, newer features, and the security team are those who are left with cleaning up their messes, some sort of that kind of attitude. This image was created by Pete Cheslock, and it has become very famous, and it started as a joke, as a meme, but now unfortunately it kind of become the sentiment in a lot of the places that I consult with, which is part of my job to actually change this perspective, this paradigm, to something that I think is a lot healthier, which is this one. I take this from She Hacks Purple, but what she's depicting here is actually the thing that I have been telling all my clients all this time, that security people, you cannot be the one that the one that's stopping DevOps people in doing their job. You gotta you gotta educate them. You gotta teach them on how actually to do security, and why security is important. You have to take the first plunge. You have to be able to enable them, to give them tools, to give them help, and to give them rewards if the DevOps people actually do security right. It's not healthy to actually, for the security people, as outnumbered as we are, to actually force DevOps to adopt our mindset, our culture. It's just not going to work well, based on my experience, at least. So before we talk about DevOps, let's talk a bit about DevOps first, especially for the cybersecurity people and the audience. It might be beneficial for everyone to actually understand the DevOps definition provided by Donovan Brown, which I think still the best definition of DevOps out there. So he said that DevOps is the union of people, processes, and products to enable continuous delivery of value to your end users. I want everyone to keep this definition in mind while we keep talking about DevOps in the next few slides. We will come back to this definition later, and then we will answer the big question about DevOps versus DevSecOps. So basically, DevOps have been doing this, in their processes. But what I find usually the gap is actually the way DevOps do things might not be up to the standard of security people, or might not be actually in line with how security people see security. So by the end of the day, what could happen is a super bad situation where it looks like security isn't being done at all, or at most, which is a lot of things that I found in my clients, is that, hey, security is being done, but it's just an afterthought. You know how it is, right? We are 1 week away from production, and now play security, do your pen test, do your internal test, do your VA, do whatever that you think that is needed. But we have to still push this into production by end of next week or so. So that's a security still as an afterthought. Luckily for me, a lot of my clients are actually in this stage. Security is there as a separate team, but they are doing it, although it's still detached. It's still bad, but it's not as bad as an afterthought. So basically, the security team are included in conversations, in designs, and all that, right? But the processes that are embraced are still detached, are two separate security processes altogether. So this is also the thing that we want to avoid. So this is actually what we want, right? We want security to be in place everywhere. And to do so, this what it could look like. I'm not saying that you have to do this exactly like the diagram shown here, but it is an idea for you to consider, where depending on your unique environment, you might need all or some of the security related things that are depicted on screen. We still need to answer this question. So what's the difference between DevOps and DevSecOps then? If you ask me, ideally speaking, there shouldn't be any. And why do I say that? Because if we go back to the actual definition by Donovan Brown, I highlighted those three words. Every security people in the audience would immediately realize that, hey, that's the cybersecurity definition as well. Cybersecurity people always talk about people, process, and technology. Technology is just products and tools, right? So basically, DevOps is saying the exactly same thing, the exact same things with security. So there shouldn't be any difference whatsoever, because the fact is, the current situation, DevOps needs to be done, and security needs to be injected into DevOps. But with that same token, there's going to be the elephant in the room. So do we still need the security team? Well, because I come from a security perspective, I might be biased. I might be a little biased in answering this, but I'm going to argue yes, because at the end of the day, the specialized skills of security people will still be required. DevOps will still need security perspective, security experts to show them of why is this important. And we need DevSecOps, but why? I'm just going to brief through statistics that I'm sure a lot of us have seen before. And from Veronis, I'm sure a lot of us have seen this. Almost 10 billion records have been stolen until today, until 2020, I mean. And it's not getting any better if the pandemic serves as a clue. And this I took from Cross Security. And this is the growth of data breaches in 2020 compared to 2019 only, right? Still saying the same thing, that web app attacks have been contributing to the majority of attacks of data breaches. This is from IBM. IBM said that 10% year-on-year increase overall growth in the total cost of a data breach. So this figure should be, should be taken into consideration, especially if you are in the senior management. This is the things that you can talk to your fellow C-levels that, hey, we really need to think about security, because the cost of not doing it could be huge. And so I want to take a little time for to give you some ideas, tech ideas to get you started. We'll be mentioning some names in terms of tools, brands, products, and all that. But I just want to make it clear that just because I mention it doesn't mean I endorse it. That does not mean I think that they're best. Although I have used, quite a subset of them, does not mean that, hey, you should use this or don't use this. No, use whatever you think best works in your environment. We will come to that later. So let's start with a few things. When you plan and develop, the team is, you create user stories, you plan your sprints, and you code. And for this, usually, not usually, but the tools that you can use is stuff like Jira, Rally, some kind of version control system like Git and Subversion, somewhere to put your source code, such as GitHub, and then you need to build. The developer needs to code, and then they need to build, and then it needs to be automated. Stuff like tools like Bamboo, CMake, all that can make this happen. And as part of the CI/CD pipeline, your team will need to store artifacts, right, securely. So including the third-party custom libraries. So usually we can use Jenkins, we can use Nexus, Artifactory, Archiva, tools like that to store artifacts. And then the DevOps needs to test the application, from the unit testing to the functional testing, regression, integration, and performance as much as possible, right? Cucumber, Selenium, JUnit, those are usually just some examples. You might you might use other tools. It doesn't matter, but the idea is that these tools can be automated, can be scripted, and then can be integrated through the CI/CD pipeline, which is very important. And the security comes in, right? You need to scan the code. You need to scan the code. You need to scan the containers. You need to scan everything. And tools like SonarQube, OpenVAS, OWASP, Zap for the free kind of hacking tools. Portswigger if you want to pay for it. Qualys, Fortify, all that. Those are just examples of what kind of tools that could be implemented in your entire CI/CD pipeline for automation purposes. And after everything is done and you can successfully deploy it to production, you will need to manage your configuration requirements, and then you push the right builds into production, and after that you have to manage the operations as well. So Puppet, SaltStack, Ansible, Chef, these are just some examples of the tools that are usually found, that I usually encounter with my clients, and then once it's there, it goes live. The business is happy. The press conference, all that. Well, we still need to monitor, right? Sensu, Nagios, all that. We need to monitor for the performance, for anything. I put Splunk in there because one of my clients actually used that for both performance and security, for the SIEM solution. They use that just to monitor everything, and they will build use cases based on that. So part of the monitoring is also to monitor security attacks, not just monitor the performance or customer complaint in terms of functionality, features, and all that. Security is also part of the monitoring. And after all that is said and done, when the business grows, you will need to scale. I just put some names there that you already know, but I think the most important thing are the containerization technology and the container management, such as Docker Swarm, Kubernetes, whatever that you use right now. As long as they work, keep using them. So if I have to summarize, this would be it. Again, the brands, the product that is mentioned here are just examples. You do not have to actually use them in any way. It's just for you to have some ideas that we need to have a certain solution for each and every step of the way. But the most difficult or the most challenging part is actually to orchestrate all of this into a to be able to have a working pipeline. Just as an example, again, your process might be different, but as you can see, from the developer to the production, there are like several steps, right? And then you can inject security in each process. For example, like pre-commit hooks, secrets management, all that. You can actually use this as a a starting point in how you want to think about. Okay, we have a current pipeline. For example, on the top is your current pipeline, and you want to inject the DevSecOps, the security portion into your pipeline. It might be it might look something like that. And or you might want to start small and just do one of the four one of the four rectangles that are highlighted by the red boxes on screen. We start with the pre-commit hooks. What is this? It's basically something like this. You can actually help your developers to be aware that, hey, can you please stop putting access key, secrets, tokens, all that secrets that unfortunately I'm sure everyone in the audience have heard sometime in the past that the access tokens are leaked. Some developers accidentally push the code into the GitHub, and then the GitHub got leaked into a public repository, and so on and so forth. And those keys are then used by malicious individuals to get important data and all that. So pre-commit hooks is actually a first step mitigating control. It's not foolproof. Don't be mistaken, because this pre-commit hooks can be circumvented by developers themselves. But it is still better than nothing. At least if you want to start instilling cultural changes into how developers should think about security, this is actually a tool that could help them, because they would let's say they want to code like a secret key, and they got this immediately. They do not need to wait days or weeks for security people to come back to them and nag to them, hey, apparently you have this secret token in your code. No, let them be empowered, be enabled, that whenever they want to commit something that is related to secrets, they got an error right off the bat. Because you see, when developers code, it is important to keep the spirit of coding with them, because if you're a developer, you would know if you need to revisit a code that you have spent that you code like 3 months ago or like a month ago, the groove isn't there anymore. The mojo is gone, so to speak, right? It's like, oh man, I have to redo this again, something like that. So we can help developers by small stuff like this. This is just an idea. And again, source code analysis, or SAST, is basically a white box security testing, because you actually go through the source code and look for potential vulnerabilities. And again, this will need okay, this is the most important thing. Every SaaS tool will have false positive. I have seen a lot of people saying that, hey, I don't use product A because they gave so many false positive. Then they just went to product B, and after some time then the product will give false positive as well. Many, to be exact. And the trick is this: regardless what your tool is, make sure of two things. First, it needs to support your language. Don't just use any tool. You actually need to do your homework. What languages are your developers are using? And when you actually, secondly, when you first run these tools, there will be a lot of false positives. Usually, there will be a lot of false positives. So you need to sit down with the developers and actually help them. You need to work with your developers. You need to help them to actually fine-tune the source code analysis tool, whatever that may be. It needs time to be adjusted. It needs time to be fine-tuned so you can actually weed out all the false positives. And what we want is something like this, right? Whenever they build, and if there are high vulnerabilities and all that, the source code cannot be built. That's what we want. But again, this has to be in line with the pipeline. And one other thing that I want to mention is that in some cases you might want to be a little bit permissive in terms of security. What I mean by that is that even if there are one or two high vulnerabilities, depending on the application and the risk profile of that application, you might want to still consider that as a pass. Because look, we all want bug-free code, but we're not going to get a bug-free code, not in any time soon. That's just a fact. So same with the security bugs. We may not be able to reach zero security bugs. I think that's impossible. But depending on what kind of risk profile your application has, maybe, just maybe, you have to talk this with your risk people, your compliance people, your developers, and your business leaders as well. What kind of risk threshold that we are accepting. And this will help tremendously in terms of how you implement your DevSecOps, because you will not be able to reach ideal situation outright, but you will be able to find that sweet spot with enough conversations going about between everyone participating. So the bottom line, everything has to be automated, must be in the pipeline. And the cloud, again, is a friend, but a lot of things that you need, a cloud is already there. Some tools you might still be required, but I just leave it here for reference. And since I don't have a lot of more time, I just need to wrap this out a little bit quickly. So I think the slide is going to be shared later, so you can take a look at it. And the last thing is that people, process, and challenges. So this is where I'm going to wrap things up, where I hopefully by the time we end this, you need to take you can take something to your team and to talk about with your colleagues and management. So basically, again, shift left, because we know the more left the bug is resolved, it's cheaper for the business. So and what we need from DevOps is that you should give feedback to the security team of the most pressing concerns. If the security team is asked you to participate in security awareness, hacking demo, security training, security coding practices, all that, please attend. And you please start talking with the security people and listen to their perspective as well. Understanding can come from conversations, a genuine conversation, instead of, hey, this is your job, just do it. Don't be like that. I know that DevOps are under a lot of pressure and under a lot of time deadline, but we can talk this out. And for security people, I think you should provide feedback earlier and more often. And Again, this is very important. Automate as much as possible. You need to teach the DevOps to understand the results of your automated scripts. And uh, you want to tune the tools that you use so you don't waste their time. And false positive, yeah, you work with them, you work to get rid of the false positive, and you actually present to the DevOps the actual results that they need to work on. And again, you need to add security to each phase of the software as much as possible. But at the end of the day, you need to be firm when there is a significant security bug that is found. You might need to be able to demo this. You might need to be able you might need to have a hacking demo for this. Like I said, show the developers why this is important, demo it to them, do a short POC, steal the data or something like that, convey the message in practice. And this is what I usually suggest. If you are having a security workshop where you do the cool stuff, right, the reverse engineering, the pen test, and all that, get some developers to be participating, and ask their managers for a short break. This you might be surprised that a lot of developers actually are interested in learning more about security if they are actually being asked. And security people, you gotta employ metrics to track trends on, and especially if the DevOps are doing great, you need to tell them that. And if it's possible, like I said, you can invite some great hackers for the first 2-3 times, and then based on their findings, you can actually create scripts to automate those unit tests as much as possible. So again, DevOps will be able to use that automated test results to be able to write better codes. And again, if there are security wins, you celebrate it with everyone. This is a good thing to celebrate, because let's say, hey, we've been 6 months without major security breaches. You get celebrated, buy pizza for everyone, right? That means DevOps are doing their job. And then again, talk with each other, right? Don't give PDFs and then expect everyone to come back within a week or two. Just talk and sit down with everyone, right? And again, don't do this again. I like blame game. It's not helping anyone. All of us are under a lot of responsibility. Some of us are under a lot of stress. Pointing fingers will not solve the problem. Nobody's perfect. But everyone can definitely learn. Security people, create security champions, as many as you can. Like I said, get developers or ops people in incident response. You never know. Some of them might be very interested in security, and they might be preaching security to their respective team without you having to do your preaching yourself, right? That's going to be a huge benefit for your entire organization and for the business as well. So, okay, just few takeaways. Again, DevSecOps is DevOps plus Sec. It's a single team. There shouldn't be any difference between DevSecOps and DevOps. It's just DevOps. Just make it so. Process change. Okay, security has to be also prioritized to the software development process cycle, but it has to be automated. It has to be scripted. It has to be integrated. And for the leaders in the audience, again, you need to instill cultural change. You cannot expect your team to be able to work well together without you having the commanding voice of change. And again, automation is key. No one wants to do waterfall anymore. It's just not going to work. No one wants to read hundreds of pages of PDFs and manually. Everything has to be machine parsable. So do that step by step, stage by stage. And again, whatever I've been saying throughout the slides is based on my experience. Yours will be unique. There is no such thing as a DevSecOps one size fits all. Your experience will be unique. Your mileage will vary. I guarantee it. But what is important is that you start somewhere, and hopefully you start building block by block until you find the the DevSecOps culture and process that suits you. So thank you very much for everyone's time, and I give back to Winston for the for the closing, and hopefully again everyone, thank you for the attention. I hope you get something out of the talk out of the short talk, and you can reach out to me through Tech in Asia if you need more, more discussion, more conversation. I will be very happy to to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ellie, for that presentation to let us know exactly, how DevSecOps can and should play out in practice. All right, we have one more session for day one of PDC 2022. It will be about assessing your product opportunity, cost, and risk. Now, we'll be hearing from Navajo Bima Hadisuwarno, Senior Product Manager, Business Operations and COO Office at Traveloka for this one. I don't think you want to miss that. Let's end day one off with a bang, yeah? I'll see you there.